this one man came up to me. I guess he was a medicine man, what people call a medicine man. And he asked me, "Who are you?" I said, "Well, they call me Metis today." I said, "Back home, they call me Apitogusan." I said, "We're mixed blood people." And I said, "We're part of a nation today." I said, "Oh," he said, yeah, we have a name for you guys too." He said, "I know who you are." He was a Anishinaabe, Ojibwe. I said, "Well, what is that name?" He said, "Wisakuti Winuak." He said it means where a fire has gone through, it burnt everything. All the vegetation, everything, and new shoots come up, he said. I said, "Isn't that incredible? That's exactly who we are." A fire had burnt everything, I said. It was in the form of a culture that came and eradicated all the old culture, and a new culture came up there. Wisakuti Winuak. We're in a place where a lot of people that had lived in the cities didn't necessarily live in a traditional manner, and they didn't really know that they were Métis. But they're finding out that they're Métis now, so they want to explore what it was like. So for us who grew up in that way, we could share that kind of traditional knowledge. But how does it apply to contemporary society? Well, the values that were placed on the respect that you accorded to children and the way that you raised them in a good fashion can be applied to contemporary society today.
My mom's side of the family is Italian, and that's how we grew up. We were raised very European, you know, very Italian. Grandma Speranza doing the big Italian feast every Sunday, so we had that culture. But I didn't know the other side, and when I was pregnant, suddenly, and I can't explain why, maybe it's the ancestors reaching up to us or something, but suddenly it became really important to know that side. It was like I was responsible for bringing this new life into the world, and I had to know who I was in order to bring this new little person up knowing who they are. He was definitely the reason why I explored my Métis culture.
Are you riding a horse?
I mean, we listen to fiddle music. I've started teaching jigging, and so there's always fiddle music playing. He knows fiddle music. He loves fiddle music. He knows the food. He's, you know, we go somewhere, and if there's bannock, he'll announce proudly, "I like jam on my bannock." Children are little sponges. Whatever they're around, that's familiar to them. It's like when you think back to a memory that you have when you're a child. It's very familiar. It's, you know, comforting, and that's what I hope that, you know, when he thinks back on his childhood, I hope that he remembers all these things and that a fiddle has a connection. The sound of the fiddle brings him back, and it feels like home.
It was way past bedtime on New Year's Eve, but Nolan's shoes were still tapping. The lively fiddle music gave him energy. He hopped from side to side, copying the other dancers. Nolan glanced up and Moosham winked from across the dance circle. You can wink. Let's see you wink. At me.
This generation, my generation, is the generation to heal. In the past there is shame, and it was shame that was put on the Métis people. It wasn't shame that they should have felt. I feel like this generation is the generation to break the link in that chain, and Gabriel, my son, his generation will be the generation to celebrate. There's no reason that he will ever feel shame associated with being Métis. When he says to me, we were reading a book, Janelle's Dance, and at the end of the book it says how Janelle realized that what made her special was being Métis. I read that to him for the first time, and he says, "Mommy, we're Métis." And I just thought, oh, that is so cool. He's so excited to say that. And I thought, yes, I'm doing my job. You know, he's got no shame associated with it at all. He feels so much pride in that. And I just think that's so good, regardless of what your background is. To feel that much pride in your background is so important because it's who you are. You know, you always want your children to be happy and healthy. And how can they be happy if they don't know who they are or they don't feel that pride in who they are? Good work. Oh, okay.
Develop your own self as who you are. Don't let what is written down in history dictate who you have to be or what you're about. That's history. That's something that happened to people that lived in that generation. We are not in that generation. We will never be in that generation again. We are a new generation, a new breed of people with new opportunities of coming together and raising a beautiful, beautiful group of people called Metis Nation, and that's going to be the greatest nation in the world. That's what I would like to share with you.